Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Pathfinder Ultimate Guide series. In today's episode we will start claiming or retaking Drezen, and potentially, if I have the time, show off the little spectre fight at the ruins of Ashbury Hamlet. For now though, let's level up our people that we left back at camp, more precisely Darren and Nenio. Let's talk a little bit about spells and stuff. If you go down to spell focus, you can see a bunch of different spell types, and these are called schools of magic. Getting any of these schools of magic will add +1 bonus to the difficulty class for all saving throws, meaning they are harder to resist. So for your damaging spells, which is mostly under evocation, most of them have a save to negate the full damage, but if you have higher difficulty class, there's a chance that they hit for the full damage. With that being said, I am in fact going into spell focus and evocation. For my level 2 spell, I'm gonna get Bear's Endurance. For my level 3 spell, I'm gonna get Archon's Aura, which, if the creature fails a will save, they will suffer a -2 penalty to attack and AC. And as for my level 4 spell, I'm gonna get Death Ward. An alternative could be Freedom of Movement, but that is up to you. You can pick it up at level 11, or vice versa. As for his little mythic feat, you can go into extra mythic ability and get enduring spells so they last longer. And quite similar to what we did with Ember at level 8 to prepare for Lawmaster, we're gonna do mostly the same for Nenio here. Instead, though, we're going 10 levels of Wizard and then 10 levels of Lawmaster. While Ember focused on Knowledge World, we're gonna get Knowledge Arcana with her. So, to prepare for level 10 with her, scroll down a bit and you should find the Skill Focus line and then Skill Focus Arcana. Here there's some very good spells that we want to keep in mind. If you didn't pick up Camellia with Animal Growth, you should get one version of that on Nenio, but if you did, like I did, good alternatives is Phantasmal Web, Echolocation if you didn't pick up the scroll from last episode, Cloudkill is decent, Baleful Polymorph is decent too, Mindfog is also good, but otherwise Stoneskin Communal. Now you might see that this is red. It is because this is an Abjuration spell, and as you can see, Nenio has an opposition school, meaning to have one of these Stoneskin Communals as her spell here, I need to have 2 slots filled with it. But that is fine, because this Stoneskin Communal version here is what we've been looking forward to for a while. We gain damage reduction to Adamantine, or that can be bypassed by Adamantine, and it's 10 as well. So it ignores the first 10 points it takes, unless it's Adamantine of course. And once the spell has prevented a total of 10 points of damage per caster level, right now my caster level is 9, so that is 90 points, it is discharged. So we basically have 90 additional hit points, you could call it. And since it's communal, this is going to affect each and every single character in our party. As you can see, each cast of Stoneskin Communal and also the regular one gives or costs 10 Diamond Dust. This is at the point where certain spells at certain levels, the more powerful they become, requires different material costs. We will talk more about that since we can soon scribe, or we can theoretically now scribe Stoneskin Communal, and it will not cost us diamond dust to scribe a scroll of that, meaning we can circumnavigate this diamond dust cost in terms of getting free scrolls, basically. And soon, at level 11, we can also give Phantasmal Killer persistent spell, meaning it has advantage, basically, or they have to roll twice. As you can see, I have also now heightened these spells right here. Illusion spells function greatly with Heighten, since most of them are based on difficulty class to do certain things. Now you could either spell focus mythical or spell focus mythic, which means it doubles the bonuses of spell focus and greater spell focus, or you can do something like I'm doing and get expanded arsenal and get conjuration, Conjuration is your mostly summoning things from out of nowhere, so your greases and your pits and whatever. And I am going to have Nenio be a little bit of a crowd controller. And the reason we are going 10 levels of Scroll Savant is to unlock Scroll Mastery, meaning we can use our caster level instead of whatever the item's caster level has on the scroll we want to use. Make sure you also potentially learn echolocation on Nenio, like so, and you now have it in here. This will be useful at some point in the future, because this gives you blind sight, which bypasses the mischance on concealment. Now personally, I'm not gonna use Rachel that much, but I am going to showcase a potential build path. He starts off as 1 level Hill Knight and 6 levels of Fighter Armager. He functions well as both of these classes, but I'm gonna increase his Armager levels not only for bonus combat feats, but also for increases to my armor training and for increases to weapon training. As for skills, you can go with whatever he has now, potentially plus or 3 ranks in mobility if you want him to be a tank and to get combat or fighting defensively active better, but otherwise just pump in what you have here. I'm going to give him a wee bit of mobility just in case, and then go into something like Knowledge Arcana. Now, since Ritual uses hooked hammers, which are technically two-handed weapons, we of course want improved two-weapon fighting, meaning we can get another attack with the offhand. As for our bonus feat, if you hadn't already guessed, indeed Outflank. Our roster of Outflank is increasing ever so slightly. We also get a wee bit extra bonus to will saves against Charm and Compulsion, but this special ability here is rather weak in my opinion. For his level 8, you can just increase his strength. That way it is a full or even score. And now we get armor training 2 as well, lessening the armor check penalty and increasing the maximum dex bonus from armor. For level 9, it's quite simple, just increase your skills as you see fit, and then go into improved critical and of course the gnome hooked hammer here. And then since he's a wee lad, you can put on lunge so he can reach from further away. Note that it will decrease your penalty or AC by a bit, but if you have him at the backline of your tanks or just in general from further away, he's not likely to get hit that much anyway. So here we are, that is level 9. As for his mythic, since he's a melee character, getting something like Last Stand is nice. Followed by 2-weapon fighting mythic, so my penalties to attack rolls are lessened by 2. Overall, Ritual should be slightly more good at hitting stuff with his hammers, and deal a bit more damage with increased crit ranges. With all of the boring stuff now sorted, we can head to Drezen. You can replace someone like Ember with either Nenio or Darren, or even with Camellia. It's completely up to you. I know for a fact that I'm gonna pick up a companion that's gonna take Camellia's spot soon in Drezen, so she can just join for that duration. I do, however, think that I will swap out Ember for someone like Nenio. And here we are at Drezen. You can choose different ways of approach, but I chose the head-on one. As you might be able to tell, Drezen is quite the large area, and there's even a basement and also an upstairs in the castle. So this might be a two-parter, it most definitely will be. I will only mark out the important loot, including this dinosaur bone here, but otherwise I will generally skip the fights and only showcase the more important ones. Note that you do have a little bit of time pressure here, since there is some giants casting down little fireballs from the battlements, and also when you get into the basement every 10 minutes you will decrease or you will have an effect that can decrease your charisma by -2, both of which can be rid or eliminated by either killing the giants or interacting with some stone tablets. To the immediate left, if you've gone through the gate, if you climb up these roofs and these little things here, you can enter into the barracks from this door here. In here, on the lower floors, there is a magic essence and also a little great axe. I recommend heading to the right at some point from the gate, Here you can find some free supplies, which means it's a free rest. Once you see a door to the ruins, you should go in there. In here there is a perception check to open a door. Once you're down here, you can find the Drezen prison. And not only is this one of the areas where we want to kill a certain enemy, but this is also an area where we'll meet our new friend. In one of these chests there's a magic essence, and if you walk over to the rightmost wall you should be able to see a perception check where you'll find some more enemies and also a Rougelet, our new companion friend. If and only if you sang along with the song in the Drezen church in the marketplace. You will still find her here, but she will not join you at this moment in time. Make note of this stretch in this little prison cell as we'll want to take care of him. You can open these additional little cells to get some extra XP, though it's not that much. On 3 soul stretches spread across this map, there will be 3 keys, one on each, and these 3 keys will open a little secret passageway which nets you both some nice experience. Let's talk to a Rougelet now, and then see our decision of singing along in the Drezen church in Canabris. And you can click the Good requires a certain mythic path to sing the Song of Elysium. This is the Book of Dreams thing that showcases here. Blammo. And just simply say open the cell. And here we are, a Rougelet joins the fray. I will swap out her for Camellia, though the decision is completely up to you. She joins you at level 8 with some experience towards level 9. At this point, if you haven't hit level 9 anyway. Since she both has high charisma and also high dexterity, she can function as your mobility, stealth, even persuasion as well, but also use magic device. Plus she has decently high perception at already plus 18. For now, since we want to hit flat-footed AC as much as possible, let's get improved initiative so she acts faster in combat. At level 9 she also gets evasion, which means that she is better at making reflex saving throws. For spells that deals half damage on successful saves, then she now takes no damage instead. As for any of your bow people, I like going cleaving shot, since it spreads damage like a little shotgun to people if you kill them. Next up, I enjoy getting rapid shot mythic, meaning the penalty is lessened by -2, so it's just a normal full BAB attack with the extra arrow. She's gonna come with some rather mediocre equipment, so feel free to swap that out. I'm gonna give her this Bruiser's chest plate here. Feel free to learn more about her in your own time, but for now, let's continue. On one of these bodies, you will also find some broken gauntlets. Make sure to pick those up. If you head out of the other area where you just came from, the other exit, you will find yourself on the opposite side of this wall here, and that is rather important because to the right side of up here there's a rather easy way to the roof, but before any of that, let's go to the tavern here. In this room behind here, we will find a friendly little face, or a not so friendly one, and perhaps the lesser version of the one we'll meet soon enough. And over in this little corner here, we will find a lone dredge, the second of 3. This wee guy here in the corner is of course the dredge I'm talking about, and on his body, true enough, you will find your second key. There's also a Crusader Supplies, which means a free rest. Alright, behind here we have a little friend. He has about 39 AC, but he's very weak to touch. Though his AC might seem intimidating on hard, it's not really that bad at this point in the game. He doesn't really have anything special going on for him other than he can hit decently hard, but if you just target him with spells, one of which could be a potential phantasmal killer, there's a decent chance that he will outright die. Once you kill him, you gain a nice little chunk of experience, and also a build of physical might, which is a +2 to strength and constitution. This will also, once you clear out this guy in the corner, net you some extra cash with a certain fella once you have retaken Drezen. So do keep that in mind. You will get about 7,500 gold or something, maybe 15,000. I can't fully remember. Since we now cleared the tavern, we can go over to these ladders and climb over and get to the top of the walls. Remember, you can go back and forth with these checks here, but do be warned, it can damage them if they fail, from falling of course. And if that happens, simply one channel positive energy should be more than enough to bring the squad back to full HP. Once you're finally here, you can climb these little rocks here. Make sure to skirt the walls here and clear out everything. The more important ones is once you get into the actual gatehouses that you can open them from there. This nets you an extra about 300 experience per pop instead of just hitting them from the front. Here is your first gatehouse, and you can go under the gates. And up here you can see a little lever, and that gives you 900 experience. There is a few of these gatehouses around, but if you just circle the walls you should open the majority of them. This is also where we get the opportunity to kill the little giants. These guys right here firing trebuchets, and they fire fireballs every now and then. Here's your second gatehouse. Open that, disarm that, and you should indeed have plenty of loot and time to do this. Once you have taken out the second ash giant, your camp will move down here. This is also your next resting place if you want that. Do be slightly careful about this area, since this guy casts haste, so if you can, focus him, otherwise you should be fine. In one of these little graves there's a perception check to discover this helmet. It's rather shit, cause it's only +2 AC against undeads, of which there are rather few enemies. This is also an alternate entry with, I believe, Ritual, which means you could go up here and then up here to go the walls faster. Finally, we have the temple, this over here to the immediate left of the Drezen thingy, and in here you will find your final dredge and also some nice items in the basement. There is an alternative way into this area, but ultimately it doesn't really matter too much. This guy here can hit hard, but he is worthy of a chunk of experience that's too good to pass up. His stats are rather dreadful though in the defensive department, and on him you will find some nice loot, including this thing here. Every time you hit a crit, you get what is equal to dispel magic on the enemy, so each time I hit a crit I can dispel one of their abilities or little spells they have on them. This is a decent armor for a Rougelet or anyone else, though it only has rather poor AC, which is +4. And if you have Rage with either your Blood Rager or a Demon Mythic Path, which you'll get soon, or a Barbarian, this is also a decent-ish cloak for the +2 attack bonus. Otherwise, in this little room to the immediate right, you will find the third and final dredge for the secret little passageway. Make sure to pick up this key here, and once you have all 3 keys, one in the temple, one in the tavern, and the final one in the prison, you got all the keys. There's also a secret door just next to the dredge, and this allows you to cast 3 spells from the Oracle Cleric spell list per day, as though you're using the maximum spell feat. And only an Oracle or Cleric can wield it, so it's basically only a social or Darren item. There are also another free rest in here, but that's basically that. There are also this little thingy here, which can dispel your corruption from resting, and in total I believe there are 3 of them in the upper parts, and at least 1 in the bottom parts of this map, so there should be plenty of areas for you to both rest and to dispel the corruption you gain from resting. If you follow this pathway to the right, you will find some more rooms and potentially some enemies. If you continue following the pathway, you should find a little weird underground area, and here you should find a statuette in one of these rooms that has this right here, a Triceratops statue. Don't actually read the once per day, because this is a little companion that if he dies, you can of course summon him right back. But it essentially functions as an animal pet, whatever you want to call it, and it uses the character's level -4 as the effective druid level, so once you become level 11, this will turn into a bigger version of himself. So if I put him on Draken and then click this here. There he is. I now have a little Triceratops called Bismuth. He's a rather cute little fella, and he basically functions as a normal pet. So anyone that doesn't already have one can get him for free, and don't worry, you can swap out the statue to anyone else. It is not permanently locked to whoever initially activates him. Again, another free rest here. And this is the alternative entry to this place. Let's exit from the newly acquired entrance. And as you can see, if you battle yourself to the left or the left-hand part of this second wall here, you can enter the ruins from this. So you can basically teleport from this side to this side through the temple underground. Upon exit, you will find yourself against these little Darachnes. They shouldn't pose much of a threat if you just charge them with your entire party. Half on one, half on the other. That should easily kill them. And if you move your little campsite up to the second layer, you can also chat to Wilsagams and sell whatever garbage you have picked up. Do be warned though, this will clutter up his inventory with all of the garbage that you have. So do so at your own risk. Again, plenty of free rests around the place. If you head all the way over to the rightmost side of the second layer, I call this the first layer, this the second layer, and the keep the potential third layer. If you head to the easternmost side of the second layer here, there's a few enemies in this little courtyard that we'll soon see. And if you have all the keys, you will see a little doorway here, which you can open. This is the secret pathway. Do be warned, there is a fair few normal demons in here, and a few traps, so if you can, potentially pull one of your characters forward to trigger the fight, and then have the fight occur around here, not so as to not trigger the traps. In here there is a fair few incubi, and also, I believe, 1 or 2 succubi, but that's about it. In the wall here there is a lesser extent metamagic rod, around here or so, this little thing here in fact, somewhere here. And then if you move up, you will find even more traps, one right there, and you can just skirt around, or attempt to anyway. I'll try to hold, and then go with Arushale around, and inside here to disarm the trap, which is right there. Once you are here, you can interact with this little door. That'll net you 1300 XP with a full party, so times that with 6 if you're playing solo, and so on. If your map looks a little something like this, you are now ready to take on the staircase and the keep here. On the stairway here there is a fallen crusader. He has decent stats, but that's about it. He's not really that tough, but he nets a nice chunk of experience. Note that from the right there will be a spider, and if you're playing on core and above, there will be another spider from the left. The spiders will be lesser versions of the hunter retriever we defeated in the leper's smile. One of them comes down from the walls here. The other one should soon come from this way. The crusader himself has a little dueling sword, the Herald of Pain, and also a little full plate that is basically a full plate plus 1. Not that good. Heal up any potential damage you might have suffered with 1 use of channel positive energy. Once you walk through this gate, there will be a scripted encounter with a little demon, and he's rather special because he's a Balor, your first of those kinds of enemies. Though it is scripted to end between, I believe, 3 to 5 rounds, aka 18 to 30 seconds, and in theory you could just run away and you'll be fine. Here he is. You can try an intimidate check here. As you can see, he has basically 500 hit points, rather high AC, but if you use your Fascinate or Dirge of Doom, you are most likely going to hit the flat-footed, as he has rather poor, or not poor saves, but your save should be able to bypass it. Otherwise, touch AC, but as mentioned, you can just run away, while you leave Erebeth and whoever poor Sarge she has with her to their own devices, since this is a scripted encounter that will end rather quick. So in my case, this encounter will end in one or two ways, either by getting him to half HP or just waiting the duration before the script ends. And at some point, Graber will come in and attempt to assassinate him, and he'll basically just be swatted away like a little fly, and you'll gain 1300 experience or so. You will also get another free rest right here, the Crusader supplies, and once you're ready, you can move up to these little stairs here, as this will be your next area forward. You can only, for now, go over to the right here, as you cannot enter this left-hand side currently. So let's go into the Citadel's dungeons. Be warned, as soon as you basically enter here and walk a little bit forward, you will trigger the little 10-minute timer that damages your charisma by 2 every 10 minutes, though it can be disabled rather quickly by 3 tablets in there. Alright, here we are then. Again, the timer will start basically immediately upon going past this little line here with the railing and the staircase that'll circle or go in a little square downwards. This being the effect that I was talking about, after every 10 minutes spent in the dungeon, non-chaotic evil creatures, which is basically all of your people, must succeed a DC of 14 will or take 2 points of charisma damage, and this is permanent until it is removed by interacting with 3 tablets in the dungeon. And as you can see, my poor little dinosaur Bismuth takes 2 charisma damage, but everyone else saves. But do remember that 10 minutes is real life time and not in-game time. Once you go through here, the choice is rather important, as this is one of the 7 things that is a soft requirement for the secret ending. You can ask her a few questions, this Yaniel person, and though it seems counterintuitive to progress the secret ending or to get the thingamabob, or at least one of the things out of 7, including the first decision you made all the way back in the Canopus Square, you will want to leave the woman in the torture chamber, or alternatively use the neutral option, which can be found in either of these dialogues here, aka either of these tests here, I believe, but I'm just gonna go for the evil option. In this little side chamber locked by an athletics check, you will find a little karma that is a weapon used by monks. It's a +2 mithril karma, and it gives +1 dodge bonus to AC, and as we know, dodge bonus is one of the few ACs that usually stack, with itself anyway. The fastest way to turn off this charisma damage is to head to the right from the room with Yaniel, then go forward a bit, and this room right here, or the one next to it, is the one with the tablets inside. Actually, I believe it's this one, and indeed it is. These are the 3 tablets, and if you interact with them normally, they will transfer into skill checks, and if you fail it, I got attacked by a Minotaur, go on and kill it. Anyway, as I was saying, once you interact with these little search bars here, they will turn into skill checks of about 20, 25, and 30 on core, and these will be a slightly bit higher on the difficult or the more difficult difficulties. So do be warned. That is why Nenio, who has expertise in the knowledge and law skills, is good. Otherwise, you might have a bard or a wizard in general as your main character, who also has the skill points in there. As you can see, there's also another corruption thingy here. If you fail any of these checks, some specters will come from the right and left, and they can be rather annoying to deal with. This is also where the use of a potential House of Vespertilio on the highest, which I believe is Law Religion 30, might come in handy on whoever has the highest Law Religion. If you complete all the checks, the Whispers of Madness will be removed, and you also gain about 270 from the checks themselves and 360 from the actual removal of the thingy. And on this body on the table, you will also find a little bastard sword of hope, and also a bit of cash. If you head down these little stairs, you will find a little thingy-mabob He is experimenting on some people behind here, and in another room next to it there's also a vampire that you can kill. This guy here, he's not really that tough. He has decent AC and weak to touch, as you can see. He has damage reduction to silver, which is basically unbypassable at this stage in the game, because there are very few ways to circumvent silver. He's immune to quite a few things, but he's not really that tough. He will open these little hidden doors that unlock, and out comes about 4 to 6 entities that he has been experimenting on. If you inspect this wall here, there is an athletics check, and behind you get a prompt to kill a vampire that is supposedly sleeping in this casket. This will net you a nice chunk of experience, and as you can see there's also a trap in here, so don't waltz in. In here you will find a little shield, some cash and a jade, and upon clicking this kill vampire, you gain about 300 experience. You can now also loot the casket for a decent touch or a decent rapier. It's a +2 necrotic rapier, and when you cast a vampiric touch spell, it deals an addition or deals 1d8 instead of 1d6. So you could put that on Camellia if you still have her at this point. Otherwise, just keep moving. This is where Death Ward might come in handy, because this little fella right here little fella right here is a Nabasu, and they have gaze attacks that decrease levels. This right here, Death Stealing Gaze. All living creatures within 30 feet must succeed a DC 18 Fortitude or gain a negative level. A rather annoying little thing. They also have spells and stuff that do the same thing. That's not important though. If you move to the right down here, you'll find a little dwarf hammering away at a rather ominous furnace. This is Joran Wayne, back from the Defender's Heart, and also Staunton Wayne's brother, the one who promised to fix Radiance for you. And if you showed him Radiance all the way back in Act 1 when you talked to him, which was the 4th option I believe, you can now say, I remember in Canabras you said you would reforge this scabbard. I did, that's true, and that means I've done it. You lose Radiance and you regain Radiance. This regaining of Radiance increases it from a regular cold iron thingy to a +2 Radiance. And unfortunately, no matter what, at least to my knowledge, you cannot save Joran Wayne at this point, so you have to kill him, since he is rather loyal to his stupid brother, Staunton Wayne, the traitor of Canabras. Other than his AC, he doesn't really pose much of a threat. And here she is. Radiance +2. It is now a +2 sword. This will be increased 2 additional times up to a potential +6. It can also be turned evil. This will be your only +6 weapon in the game, at least to what I am aware of, but the act of getting it there is rather slow and takes the entirety of the game, basically. On the little sword here, there is also this long sword here, the Solemn Hour, which is incidentally Erebeth's family sword, which starts the quest to return it to her, and by doing so she will give you around 75,000 gold, I believe, if I remember correctly. So keep that in mind when you retake Drezen. Down this little corridor to the right is a rather tough opponent that we will save for a little while. There's also a cold iron in here, which is of course an artifact restoration item. In this little chest by an overwatching statue over the, what is, we will come to know, the fake Sword of Valor, the banner we are after, but this is a fake. You get a little helmet of mental flow, which is both intelligence and charisma increases. Other than the many enemies here, if you soon interact with this banner here, you will figure out it's a trap. We also get a slime-covered key. In here you also get a lesser braces of archery, which will increase your competence on attack rolls with, well, bows of course. So feel free to equip that either on Arushale if you have her in your team, or then just in general put that on Lan. Let's interact with the fake Sword of Valor. And what's this? Wave of Exhaustion right here. Comes out from this little statue. And uh-oh, even more demons. All of these Brimaracks will almost immediately cast Fireball, which can do a fair chunk of damage. I was lucky and almost saved every single one of them. So this trap can be rather devastating. To circumnavigate that, of course, use Resist or Protection from Fire. And whoa, even more enemies are spawning in. On one of the rocks that are here, you'll get a nice Amulet of Natural Armor +3. So if nothing else, it is slightly worth getting this trap, just for that amulet. You should also be able to discover 2 walls here to the right and left of this statue here. Don't worry, we will rest sooner rather than later to remove exhaustion. But let's just push onwards here with the slime-covered key that we picked up. You could just pick this lock. You don't need to do this with this area here, but it's nice for the experience and also just for the amulet of +3. Once we deal with this upcoming encounter here involving a bunch of undead, a few Nabasu, I believe, so use Death Ward, and also a few potentially, I can't remember the rest. We should level up to level 10, we can then rest and deal with the big old bad, which we skipped momentarily. This giant pit of stinking death you will want to clear out, as it'll only continue the way you are meant to be to get the real Sword of Valor, but also net you a decent chunk of experience. And as you can see, a bunch of undead pop up from the pits here, and they will be, if I remember correctly, there will be around 20, 30 or so of these guys, and at some point you will also be facing off against some Nabasu. As you can see, it can quickly get out of hand. 3, 6, 8, 12 in here, and there are even more coming soon. Here comes the next wave, and here the Nabasu will come in, one here and one here, so do be slightly prepared for that, with Death Ward, of course. And another set of enemies will come, and uh-oh, Yarnil somehow is free. And here we are, level 10, and before we continue through this passageway to the real Sword of Valor, let's level up, rest, and go back to the optional boss, which is also an achievement to complete him on core or above. To the left over here you should find a tower shield in one of these boxes. Right there, the Bastion of Lion's Heart. And let's just take a rest. Before we actually rest though, let's level up to level 10 so we get spell slots on whoever gets them. For Dragon, it's quite straightforward. We get a Bard talent, aka a free feat, and also Dance of the Dead, which means we can summon undead acting with the Animate Dead spell, though it only works as long as we are using the song. I'm gonna go into Combat Trick and then get the Dazzling Display. Actually, I'm completely drunk. I have already both Dazzling Display and Shatter Defenses, but I'm still gonna go into Combat Trick and get Power Attack to increase my damage. As for spells, something like Sense Vitals to get Sneak Attack, and since we are a spontaneous caster, we want Echolocation to give Blind Sight. We already have it on Nenio, but that requires spell slots. We also want Freedom of Movement. This can impede, or this can remove the effect from spells such as Paralysis, Slow, and Web, so we move normally, instead of under either of these effects here. Slow and Web and Paralysis being rather annoying to deal with. As for Sealer, just increase your normal level ups, or your skills rather. We also get level 3 Paladin spells now. Angel Aspect being quite good for her. Magic Weapon Greater as well. Next up is Land the Man. It's a rather boring level, Demon Slayer level 9, but we can just increase his stats, or his skills. As for Nenio, we can do the last Scroll Savant level to get Scroll Mastery. increase the regular things, and since we just got conjuration last time, let's get some conjuration spells, such as Hungry Pit. And since we removed Camellia from our active lineup, let's also get Animal Growth back into the mix. Social is quite boring. Blam blam blam. Thank you, ma'am. Done. Next up is Arushale. She becomes rather good here. We get a free feat as well, and also favorite enemy. Make sure to go into archery, get improved critical, and improved long bow crit. If I can find it, right there. Get one instance of Demons of Slaughter, and you might wonder why do we have two of them? It's because at certain levels you will also be able to increase your past little favorite enemy bonuses. I prefer getting Demons of Magic since those are the more annoying ones, your Succubi, and so on. Therefore I'm going Demons of Magic. We now have +6 against Demons of Magic and +2 against Demons of Slaughter. We also get Ranger Spells level 3 with her. As for our defensive pet, it's straightforward, Perception Mobility, and such is the case also for our offensive pets. So just increase your thingies. Since Lizzie is only level 7, we will get Outflank for her. And I just realized we need to put an int boosting thing on her. Anyway, as I was saying, we'll get her skills leveled up, and we'll also get Outflank. Doodle-doodle-doot, right there. She also becomes big now. Remember to equip new spells you might have learned or gotten more spell slots of, such as Social. Note that Animal Aspect and the greater version of this counts with the Masterful Shapeshifter, which gives bonus stats. So, if you really want to, you could theoretically get Masterful Shapeshifter on your Rangers, and they can increase your physical stats by +4 each. This spell right here, Instant Enemy, is amazing. This allows any enemy in the game to become a favorite enemy, which means boosting your attack bonus and damage bonus incredibly by this spell here. Remember to scribe the communal versions of potentially Stone Skin right down here. Of course you can scribe whatever you want. I'm gonna cook the attack roll buff here. Another alternative is the this one here for extra HP. And supposedly if you did the romance option back in the Lost Chapel, you can continue your romance with Social. Let's return to the forge room, like so. And off they pop, as I will show you the preparation phase on how to make this fight the easiest fight you basically can imagine. First of all, mount up whoever you have on. For this fight I will manually buff, but you could theoretically also use this down here. I'll just show you how to buff for the tougher fights in the game. First of all though, let's click this stealth button down here, like so, and let's have Arushale sneak down here in stealth. You might be able to hear the eerie music. And that is because if you let these cultists do their thing, their fight will become rather fun, aka potentially difficult. You will also gain about 10,000 experience if you defeat him, an achievement if you're doing all of this on core or above and haven't switched it down up until this point, though there is a version where you can make him easier to fight if you defeat at least one of the cultists, that way he doesn't get buffed. Anyway, let's sneak in, hopefully spot the trap as we do. The cultists don't see us, so they barely recognize us. We'll just inch closer to the wall here, disarm this trap, because this is a rather nasty... Okay, Arushale, can you stop spinning? Thank you. Disarm the trap, like so. Head back outside, Arushale, thank you. And just scooch back out. Anyway, you saw there were cultists, and there's around 6-8 cultists here. they will kill themselves to buff this person or this enemy that's inside this ritual circle. And unless all of them are or kill themselves with the ritual, you will not get both the achievement and the 10,000 experience, as you will fight a lesser version, usually a cultist, which will net you about 2,000-3,000 experience and make the fight significantly easier. Let's move a little bit down and prepare to buff up. This is also an area where Guarded Half is exceptionally useful, as it will increase your attack rolls by +6 or whatever your social's wisdom modifier is. Right now mine is +6. It really depends on how much you want to buff up and what difficulty you're playing on. If you're playing on the lower difficulties, you don't really need to buff up that much. Potentially even just this button down here with normal buffs, or just 2-3 buffs each. But if you're playing on the slightly harder ones, potentially Cat's Grace with Arushale, and use your Cat's Grace on Lan as well, as that will boost your dexterity, aka chance to hit. As for Nenio, make sure you cast Blur or any other thingies that help with illusion, aka displacement, blur, invisibility greater, and even a potential Stoneskin communal version is quite good here. This lasts 10 minutes, which is more than sufficient for this fight. So let's cast that right here. Remember to always cast haste at the end, since it focuses on rounds per level, not minutes per level. With Sealer, if you have Magic Weapon Greater, which is a 3rd level paladin spell, blammo, put that on her. Though right now it's only a +1 to both attack and damage rolls, since we only cast a level 7. Potentially use Eagle Splendor and Bull Strength as well on her, like so. If I can click, thank you. Thank you very much. This will make her strength higher, of course, but it will also increase your smite, since our smite charisma is now 21, which means our smite evil will be a +5 to hit and damage roll, this ability right here. For Dragon, your Good Hope, like so. Potentially even get echolocation, like so. Though this is on personal, so don't do that anyway. Potentially put invisibility greater on both Lan and Arushale so they can hit flat foot. Either use Inspire Courage or Fascinate for this fight, though Fascinate has a high likelihood of not being that effective. Thereby I like going Courage. Another alternative is potentially Dirge of Doom, though it's rather low to work as well. Otherwise use Inspire Greatness. Now we can cast Haste since we're done with our buffs. We have one final thing to do with social when we get into actual combat, and that is to use my favorite Guarded Hearth around about a huge area in the middle, and then we'll be fine. Also make sure to get potentially Divine Favor on him, and even aid on your frontline and Shield of Faith and your other thingies. It really depends on how much you want to buff up for this fight. Fails to overcome, unfortunate. We can now throw in the Guarded Hearth in the middle of here, and now everyone in this little area will have a +6 to hit and +6 to saving throws. We hit and deal 38 damage, as you can see here. With +31 to hit, we roll a 16, aka 47. The Guarded Half is a nice +6, and the competent stacks with Aspect of the Falcon. If at all possible as well, you could potentially try to put down a couple of greases to make him slippery and potentially have him trip. Right now, my Arushale did 86 damage with a crit, so we crit, we missed, but removed a mirror image, and we hit and dealt 26 damage. So yeah, this can be made rather easy. Also make sure to summon your friends, be that with your demon or your path, or with whatever else you might be able to do. I'm just gonna try and make another grease under him. He saved that as well, but now there's 3 greases there, so 3 procs of grease per turn. That can potentially have him trip. Let's also move one of our pets in there to remove another image, Let's see if Lan with 4 attacks can deal significant damage. Missed, hit, missed, and a miss. Okay, so we dealt 33 damage, that's fine. Bismuth can just move in there and distract. Your pets will almost certainly die, but don't worry, they can come back with from resting. So I will attempt to hit, and indeed I do. 70 damage there, 43 damage there. Persepolis is still fine somewhat. So yeah, we've done quite a lot of damage in 2 turns basically. Shall we try a Phantasmal Killer to see if this procs? He's not immune to it, is he? Let me see. Yeah, no, he's not immune to death. So, let's try it. Blammo. He saved, he rolled an 11, and we had to kill him on a 5. So, yeah, that sometimes happens. Let's do a nice little prayer. Blammo. And usually you should / could be able to finish it up. Go ahead. Blammo and blammo. That is how easy this fight is if you just know to prepare a bit and have guarded half here, which is a +6. So we only took 1 casualty in the forms of Rex, but he can, as mentioned, come back on a rest. Having now cleared this room, we can interact with this laboratory journal here. Blammo, learn something new. We should also look to dismiss these creases by doing so. Go on then. Blammo. This is also Nenio, so we'll just do that as well. Righty-ho. And off we go. We can now loot whatever they had on them. This ring here is a nice little thing. It's a ring of protection +2. Additionally, it increases the DC for saving throws against spells from the enchantment school by +2. It also grants the wearer a +2 bonus on saving throws against spells of the enchantment school. So, if you have anyone focusing, any spellcasters, rather focusing on the enchantment thingy, definitely keep that in mind. Also, Kurosina here, not only does she have a agile dagger or a +1 thingy, we also get lucky dice. These lucky dice are a quintessential piece of building any character. These dice randomly grant the owner a +1 luck bonus on attack or damage rolls, or to AC during an enemy's attack, once per day. This effect also lasts the entire day, so once a day we get a potential bonus or potential +1 bonus to either attack or damage, or also to AC during enemies' attacks. So it would be good on anyone with spells like Hideous Laughter, Heroism maybe, but that's not an offensive spell though. Good Hope, though that is again not an offensive spell. Basically any of these that has the enchantment effect spell descriptor under them. For the moment though, I think we'll put that on Nenio. That way she is amazing at using both enchantment and illusion spell scrolls, while also being slightly more protected. So we gain around about 10,000 experience points. Remember, this fight becomes even easier the more levels you have, but I recommend if you are close to level 10 at this point, you should wait until you ding level 10 in Drezen if possible. Otherwise, just try your best with level 9. You should be definitely able to do it at level 9 though as well. Now we can move down to the last area of the basement floor, the bottom here. We can head to the right over here. Down these things here, there's also a little thing, man dude here. He isn't really that difficult comparatively, but he nets around 700 experience points. We can also pick up the little scroll he has. This is a little puzzle, so I'll briefly showcase that. And we'll end off the episode by looking at the... Actually, we might push it. We're gonna end off by doing this puzzle here. And then we'll call it a day. Perhaps I also want a little rest. Let's do that. Here we are then, our pets are back and nothing even happened. If you orient your camera like so, facing this sort of banner right here, and facing the staircases, going like so around. If you then click this one once and twice, this one in the middle once and twice, followed by this one over here once. That should net you the solution to the puzzle right here, and the traps will be disarmed. While I did say that I wanted to complete or split Drezen up in two, I know for a fact that there's basically nothing left to do here, so we might as well do it in one episode. Let's first unlock this chest below the Sword of Valor to find a rather spear. It is decent if you're a cavalier, otherwise it's basically useless. Let's interact with the Sword of Valor, like so. Blammo. After a little cutscene, some enemies will come from this door, and indeed here they come. And they're like, oh wow, what's this? Who's making all that noise? Going through here, just simply go around the trap, disarm it, and you're fine. There are claw and tooth marks and so on. And we can now go to the wall once more. Actually, I just came to mind a perfectly capable... Okay, decisions. Once you find yourself upon the wall here, and click this display the Sword of Valor, you will be granted your third mythic level, which also means you can finally select your mythic path. I am, however, gonna cut the video after I've done my mythic level ups, and then we'll complete or start off Act 1, or Act 3 rather, in episode 17, also wrapping up the rest of Act. Actually, I'm gonna do my mythics, do the boss fight, and then the episode 17 will be Act 3 starting. And here we are. If you have done everything correctly, you should have access to all of these different paths. The Trickster, the Lich, the Demon, the Asata, the Angel, and the Aeon. For this character, for Draken here, and for this general guide, I'm going with the Asata mythic path. This will give me a Draken companion and also give me superpowers. Let's take a look at that. We can also summon additional creatures as well. We get a new song, starts a performance that grants all allies a luck bonus on all saving throws equal to half the Asata's mythic rank. So basically now it would be either 1 or 2. Whenever an ally under this effect makes a successful saving throw, that ally is healed for a number of hit points equal to 2d6 plus the Asata's mythic rank. We also get a Draken companion that will join us, a new mythic ability, and these superpowers over here. These include All Skilled, which gives an equal mythic rank to all skill checks. We also get the ability to roll twice. We'll cover more of these sooner, or in the next episode, I think. Or when we get mythic rank 4. One of the two. So let's select Asata. For Draken there are a few options. You could go Improved Abundant Casting, since we're slowly getting more access to 4th, 5th and 6th level spells. You could go Mythic Charge if you're planning to use that with either Bismuth or potentially even your Dragon companion. Also the normal Last Stand. I do think that getting Last Stand on Draken is worth it, so that is what I'm gonna go for with Draken. His level 1 spells don't really matter. We'll just get Bane, Bless and Haze of Dreams, not like we're really gonna use them at all. But here we are. We get the Summon Mastodon ability, a new song, Dragon Companion, and also Last Stand. And a little cutscene appears. A cutscene from the past occurs. This will give you some context. And Yaniel somehow turns out to be this person here. She reveals herself as Arilu Wolish. After a little dialogue segment appears, you are forced into this combat here. Once that has wrapped up though, you can redo your mythic or complete your mythic things. But we also have a new face, Ivu here. Ivu is a independent thingy, so we can now have both Ivu and Bismuth. She is a Havoc Draken. She starts off with the following feats, as you can see here. Weapon focus to both claws, lightning reflexes, great fortitude, and power attack. And at some point she can even cast spells at level 16 and level 19. You heard that right, a dragon that can cast spells. She has 6 attacks, 1 bite, 2 claw, 2 wing, and 1 tail. All at different little attack intervals and damage, with even different critical ranges. So she's basically another character in your party. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And if we all had pets, that will be even more. Let's do Silas Mythic level 3. And I think we're gonna go Inspirational Leader. We gain +1 to initiative, saving throws, and concentration checks. So why not? And it's in a rather big area of effect. We can also improve Land's pet, Rex, by Mythical Beast, gaining bonus to strength and dex and con, equal to mythic rank, +1, so +4 right now. Its attacks now ignore damage reduction except n divided by dash, meaning there's a very specific thing right here, and that is basically this, but that is too epic though. And they are treated as adamantine, cold, iron, and silver. This is basically one of the only ways to get silver, at least on your pets. As for Nenio, the time has come to select Improved Abundant Casting. This gives us more spells of 4th, 5th, and 6th, equals more fun. The Impossible Domain and Nobility Domain gives us access to Inspiring Command, which is a +2 insight bonus to all rolls, including AC as well. So we can further increase our attack rolls, AC, and skill checks. And it can be used a number of times per day equal to 3 plus your wisdom modifier, which is currently 6, so 9 rounds per day, or 9 times per day. And it's equal to half your level in the class that gave you access to this domain. So right now we are level 10, so it lasts for 5 rounds each time. We also gain a few other things, including Inspiring Word, which is basically the same thing. The Inspiring Word is an individual thing, and the Inspiring Command is all allies. For my Arushale, I like going Distracting Shots. If I hit an enemy with a ranged attack, so basically if I hit, they receive a penalty to AC against melee attacks equal to half your mythic rank for 1 round. So once I hit a unit, my guys in melee will be even more likely to hit them. I have recorded for 1 hour and 8 minutes, so I will just continue on and defeat the rest of this area, including the boss. Before you go through this door, you can go up tower and you'll find some rather tough foes. Our formation is looking even more insane than previously, as we can now move about and have a formation like this. The reason I have my pets next to my things is so I can mount them quickly. And whenever Bismuth grows up at level 11 with Draken, I can also mount him with Draken, or I could also mount Ivu at some point when she grows up. Upon going up to the tower, you'll be faced with 3 of these Coloxes thingies, with around about 30-35 AC, but other than their AC and their little bit annoying diseases, including confusion and such, they aren't that much of a threat. Going back down the tower again, you'll find yourself at a door again. Oh, by the way, the loot we picked up from up there is this mace, the head cracker mace. As you go through this door, there will be some things that are poisonous. I don't remember what they're called. There's also a trap there, so we can go around, go into stealth, and there they are. We can unstealth, select all our people, and run a little bit back. And here comes the Omoxes. They are rather annoying as they have diseases and so on, but that's about it. And once you've killed them, you can run around, disable the trap, loot the area, including this hidden perception check up there. There's a longsword, +1. That's about it though. And some more gold stuff. Moving back to the staircases, that is the final floor and also the boss floor, so feel free to buff once you're up there. Once you have cleared out both these initial enemies here and some additional enemies in this little bedroom here, the boss fight and the last fight of Act 2 will take place behind these doors here. So potentially buff normal, blammo, and off it pops. And since you might as well go all out, you can also buff important. 30 spells pop off, blammo, and we're just about ready, and if you really need it, you can use Guarded Half in there as well, for absolute destruction. And oh, it is Staunton Nurah and Minagho and even Nurah. Any of these thingies are fine, and if you're Caden Kaelin, you will get an additional buff following the deity, Caden Kaelin that is. But ultimately, you can say potentially even hi to Nurah. You can convince Nurah to help you fight, but I'm just gonna kill them all. So Staunton Nurah has 28 AC, that's rather poor. Minagho, on the other hand, has quite a lot of AC, and Nurah has 26. Once you defeat Minagho and Staunton Nurah, the fight becomes absolutely meaningless, and I'm just already casting Guarded Hearth in the middle of the room, as that should be sufficient enough to take this out. Both Staunton and Nurah are going down without even Guarded Half coming up, as he's still casting it. It seemed like we killed Staunton Nurah fast enough, and after Staunton Nurah has a little hissy fit after losing, this is where it bridges off in various directions, depending on the mythic path you just chose. I won't spoil them too much, but for the purposes of this guide, I'm just gonna say, you think I can't kill you, and continue on. Normally he heals, but I guess he didn't even get to pop the potion, so I got the XP for killing him, and the XP from completing the initial quest, and now we only have Nurah left. And 5 seconds later, she died as well. And our only loss was Bismuth. That's unfortunate. We can quickly loot, guys. We can quickly loot Staunton Nurah for some nice equipment. A Cloak of Resistance +1, a Helmet of Wisdom +2, Belt of Physical Form, which is Dex and Con, a very nice Carapace, which is good for anyone wearing heavy armor. I'm probably gonna put this on Social, as if they hit him, they have to pass a reflex saving throw of 18 or suffer 1d3 strength damage. And even if they pass it, they still take 1d3 piercing damage. And finally, Social is gonna get a nice weapon, the Soul Shear weapon. This is a +3 adamantine glaive. It summons a demon till the end of the fight, and if Social kills even more people, this only happens on a kill though, the demon heals and gives a stacking bonus of attack rolls, so it's just gonna summon a little bit of something. And the demons can be a Babao, a Merilith, or Baelor. It cannot be wielded by lawful good, which is fine since Social is neutral good. Let's sort by type, put the Soul Shear on, blammo, and a nice little damage increase both to attack and to attack rolls and to damage. In this chest over here you'll find some stuff, and there's also a hidden perception check back here with some more valuables. We can now talk to Nurah and decide her fate. There are various benefits of keeping her alive, and also various benefits of not doing so. Ultimately, the choice isn't that meaningful, so I think I'm gonna, for the first time, gonna stab her completely. And on her, you get some very nice loot. A light crossbow +1, a few potions of various kinds, and a chain shirt +1, an amulet of epic songs. It's a +2 amulet, additionally, if the wearer possesses the Bardic Performance class ability, which we do. The amulet grants them 6 additional rounds of Bardic Performance, so we can pretty much sing song even longer. So if we put that on Draken, like so, we now have more songs and more sing songs. And once you're ready to end Act 2, you can simply head to this area just here. Once you click this button, feel free to loot absolutely everything, as there's no downside to do so. And once you regain control of your character after a brief talk with Irabeth, you are now free to wander in Act 3, which we'll do in the next episode, because cliffhangers are fun. So I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in episode 17, where we start off Act 3. Bye bye for now.